to the live stream. I'm say I'm a woodturner based in the UK, and I've jumped on YouTube recently, only in the last 3 weeks. I need to get my words out. Only the last 3 weeks, just to try and share some of my experience as a woodturner and some of the challenges I face really. And today, basically, we've got a piece of ash, British ash on the lathe, and I'm going to turn this big lump of ash basically into a nice, decent-sized fruit bowl. And as you see, there's some different kind of colour variations going on here, and it's what we class as spalting. So it's like a fungus which grows in the wood. So, but basically, yeah, it's my main object to come in on YouTube is to break some of the myths really out there about wood turning and some of the do's and don'ts, the yes and the no's, and things you should avoid and things that will help you if you want to get into this industry. But hi, thanks for watching the live stream. But yeah, basically I've been wood turning a couple of years now, and yeah, YouTube actually it actually kind of like it limits me how long I can go live for. So I'm gonna try and do as much turning as I can in the time I have. But yeah, if you've got any questions, don't forget to drop them in the comment box, and I'll try and help out as many people as I can. If you want to go out and buy a lathe, or you want to try and get into this industry, this type of skill, you say I'll try and point as many people in the right direction as possible. I've been doing this a couple of years now, and yeah, I really enjoy wood turning. It's great skills I have. But let's crack on wood turning. I'm going to say it's ash is a very dense type of wood, a bit like oak, but it blunts tools very, very quickly. So regular sharpening is always required when turning ash. We're going to crack on. We're going to try and get this into some kind of shape, some kind of form really. And yeah, as I can say, my last live, I think I've reached over 20 likes, and quite a few thousand people watched it. So I thought I'd jump back on again this afternoon just to share some of my experience really. And yeah, so let's crack on. Something's catching me on this corner, just on this corner here, so I'm just going to slow down a second. Let's get a closer inspection. Okay, so what I've got two flat edges, one at the top here, and I should have, yeah, got one on here as well. So my job is to come around this corner and create this curve, this shape into the bowl really. And yeah, I was going to say, first things first is obviously remove a lot of the bark, etc., so we can get to the grain. So but ash has got some really beautiful characteristics. It's a really nice, pretty wood, and yeah, it works as a decorative piece, or it can work as a fruit bowl. It could work as just a bowl to put on your side, really, a few bits and pieces. So yeah, we're going to crack on, and we may rack this speed up, so we'll see how the lathe behaves. So we're about 400 revs, but we can go up from there. "550 revs, okay, so that's spinning incredibly quickly, okay, as you can tell from the video. But we'll crack on, we'll see if we can get around this one in one piece. just going to stop the lathe there 1 second because I'd like to get an idea, some kind of indication of where I am really. And I've still got this nice big patch to remove here, and again I've also removed quite a lot of material on this side. So, but we keep going. I've got this bit of a wave in the wood really, so I'm probably going to lose 1/4 inch of timber as I come round really. And like I said in my previous lives, I could leave it on a bit more of a featured piece really, and but yeah, it tends to dry up, it becomes brittle, it'll fall off, it ruins the look of the bowl, ruins the aesthetics really, and just it's not very appealing to the eye, should I say really. But what I want to try and do is come around on a 45-degree angle, so when the lathe comes round, I can literally come at it and literally take this timber off really. These tools need to be kept incredibly sharp. This is basically what we call a bowl gouge, and yeah, it's very, very good at removing timber. So, but yeah, I've said before in one of my previous lives, I went on holiday to the Greek islands, and I saw a wood turner there for the first ever time, and I was quite intrigued. I was quite mesmerised by watching a piece of timber spinning around, and yeah, I thought to myself, I want to learn how to do this. And shortly after that, we went into lockdowns and COVID and the rest of it. So, but like anybody, we all binge watch YouTube, don't we? We all binge watch YouTube. So, and I taught myself as much as I could on YouTube until I got one lesson from a professional wood turner, and the rest is history, really. So, but I think this piece is round. It's about 14 inches in diameter. So, but we'll lose some of that really as we shape the bowl up. And but yeah, I was going to say thank you to everybody who's watching the live so far. Really appreciate your support. And I'm limited to how much time I can spend on live. So, because I keep getting warned by YouTube telling me I need more subscribers to go longer. So, my object of going live is to reach 1,000 subscribers. But I only set the account up 3 weeks ago, less than 3 weeks ago, and I think I'm nearly up to 200 already. So, but I really appreciate everybody's support. Basically, that does follow me on this journey. Never used YouTube before as a content creator, but I thought no time like the present, no time like the present, and I'll try and pass on as much information as I can about the stuff I've learned, the techniques I use really when cutting wood, shaping, etc. So, but yeah, we'll crack on anyway. We're at 550 revs. We may speed up again. We will speed up again, should I say? And in fact, I'm going to get a spin in 1 second. We will speed up. $650 revs, okay, so the faster this is spinning, the cleaner the cuts I'll make actually on the timber. So if you'd like to follow my journey as a wood turner on YouTube, I'd really appreciate any support, any likes, comments or subscribers. All helps the channel out, and it is free. So if you'd like to learn about wood turning and some of the do's and don'ts, as I said, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, and yeah, any support is highly appreciated. So let's crack on, let's get wood turning. Thank you very much for the like, I really appreciate it. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm actually trying to get it into the shape of a bowl, okay? I've got that natural curve in the bowl. At the moment, it starts up as half a log, okay? And we remove the pith, the heart of the log, the core, the centre of the log, because it's the softest part of the log. And usually we remove one side, so we're going to head for this side now. And we're going to try and remove as much of that as possible, all of it basically. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy the live stream. I was going to say, is there any support highly appreciated. Some people just like to watch the turning, some people like to learn about it. Wales in the UK. Somebody asked me on my other live stream, where in Wales are you from? I said, in the middle. He said, whereabouts in the middle? I said, in the middle of nowhere, because I do live in the middle of nowhere. So I think the nearest city is probably 2.5, 3 hours away by car. On my last live stream, I think I pulled in about 52, 53 subscribers, which I was massively appreciative of. It goes a long way, helps the channel out massively. So, and I say I don't just turn bowls. I turn platters. I turn vases. I turn platters, pens. Well, pens is something I haven't gone into yet really, because it looks a little bit fiddly. But something I probably will do. But I've just ordered myself a pressure pot and a compressor, so I can delve into the industry where you've seen on other videos where they mix epoxy and they put wood in and then they turn it, it turns into a beautiful piece. But I haven't got that far yet, but I have got the equipment. So if you want to see me delve into that industry and that type of technique, follow along. I was going to say any support is highly appreciated. I don't just post videos of me turning stuff. I discuss things like the tools I use, the speeds I use, lathes, what kind of equipment do you need other than just a lathe and the tools. There are more than one thing you need when wood turning. Not just a lathe and tools. You need air filtration system, you need extraction systems, because otherwise it'll turn into a bit like a hamster cage, the amount of sawdust that it creates. So, but yeah, I'm still going to work around this corner here because we know where the bark is. So somebody did ask me in one of my lives, is wood turning easy? Anything's easy when you know how. Anything's easy when you know how. Hi Richard. Riding a bike, swimming, darts. Anything's easy once you know how, okay? It's just learning the process really, learning the technique. And is it dangerous? It's very dangerous. I was going to say you can get seriously hurt really if you're not looking after yourself when using any type of machinery. So but yeah, I was going to say, as you can see, this grain is starting to come through now that it's starting to pop. So it's really starting to stand out. As you can see, ash is a very, very pretty type of timber, and it's got loads of different characteristics and grain patterns. So eventually, once we've got it sanded down and we've removed the bark, we turn it into the bowl. It's not until when we apply that finish, it actually really stands out and really can make a difference. So but yeah, we'll talk about that as we get through the bowl. But we're still running about 650 grams per minute. So, but yeah, I was going to say, it's, any questions, fire away in the comments, and I'll try and help out as many people as I can. Let's see if we can beat the last live, okay? Because I ended up with 20 something likes on it and 50 odd subscribers. So let's see if we can beat it in this one. I was going to say, but the reason why I keep stopping and starting the lathe is to see basically where where I'm making these cuts. So even though I'm still on this 45-degree angle, my gouge is going to come on here because I'm sitting just on the centre with the tool rest, okay? So when I put the gouge on, I'm actually centre with the bowl, okay? I'm actually centre with it. So thank you for the like, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All helps the channel massively. And but yeah, as you can see, as it comes round, it will take the spark with it. So, and what I'm doing, I'm cutting on this bevel on the end of the end of the gouge. And like I said in my previous, these need to be kept incredibly sharp, incredibly sharp. If it's not sharp, or if it's blunt, should I say, it's not going to cut. It's just going to rub and it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce off the timber, and that's pretty dangerous because if you do end up getting hurt, it's going to push you away, really push you off the wood. And you remember, this is steel, okay? This is a piece of what we call HSS steel, high speed steel, okay? So, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying the video. Well, the live, should I say? I keep calling it video. Well, it is, isn't it? So, anyway, I'm going to speed up again, okay? I'm going to speed up again. The faster this is running, okay, the cleaner those cuts I'll make, okay? 711 reps per minute, okay? So that we're nearly, well, to get to full speed, we're over 1,000 revs, okay? 1,000 revs. So, but yeah, we'll crack on. We're going to keep working around this form, so I end up this natural curve around the bowl. I'm not going to touch it because it's, I will hurt my hands. Now, there are two types of cuts we can make, okay? The push cut is when we push away from us, okay? And then you've got the shear cut, the pull cut, okay? And then we come towards it. And they're both cut on that bevel, you see. Now I turn everything from oak to ash to beech to alder to elm. Soon be delving into epoxy. There'll be types of timber I've never turned before, and I'll probably post them on YouTube and see where I get, really. And like I said, mistakes and all. I don't just post content just to show off and basically post stuff which just shows the brilliant stuff. I show my mistakes as well, and I'll try and explain my mistakes and how I made them and how I rectified them. So, like I said, I've been turning for a couple of years now, and by all means, I'm no expert, but yeah, I've been turning a couple of years, and I've picked up lots of different things, really, from catches with the gouge, which I don't really want to get into, but it does happen. And again, I was going to say, the different types of challenges I face as a wood turner. So, but again, we'll get in there. But I'm working on a record power lathe here at the moment, so it's just under 1 horsepower, but it's incredibly powerful for what I need it. You can get much bigger lathes, much smaller lathes, and yeah, I started off on a mini lathe, okay, a mini lathe, which is it's great just to get the basics. This is a MIDI lathe, so you got the mini lathe, the MIDI lathe is what the record power is, okay, and we can go up from there, really, and much more powerful lathes, much bigger lathes. There you go, I'm getting warned by YouTube already. Your viewer limit reached. Get more subscribers to get more views the next time you go live. So, you know what to do, YouTube. Help me out. I was going to say, I keep getting restricted by YouTube because I need 1,000 subscribers to be able to get rid of that limit. So if you want to help the channel out, and say, by all means, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy wood turning, like to just watch wood turning, or just want to learn a little bit more about it. So, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finish up rounding this off. Basically, we're going to put a tenon and a shoe on, and yeah, we'll take it from there. actually a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, okay, and the name gives it away really, bowl gouge. So it gouges the timber off. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap from this 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. A bit of a smaller one, okay. This is a 3/8 bowl gouge, so it's a lot smaller. Bonjour, Jean. So yeah, this gouge is a lot smaller than the other one, okay, but it's got exactly the same profile, the same tip, as you can see. But they just, one is good for roughing out, okay, taking a lot of timber off. The smaller one is good for more refined cuts, okay. So I'm going to put the bowl gouge down over there, the 1/2 inch. And what I want to try and do, because I don't want to remove too much material at this point, okay, because I've only got a small section of this bark left to contend with. And then we're going to put a tenon on. We can put a mortise, which actually puts a hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the bowl will actually slot onto the chuck, and we expand the jaws open, and it grips the bowl from inside. I personally don't like a mortise, because if there isn't any hairline cracks or fractures inside this wood, and you can't see them at the time, when you open those jaws, basically when you expand them, you're actually putting pressure on the wood. So what I like to do is create a tenon, and I'll show you how I'll make that very shortly. And what I want to do is grip that basically, instead of actually opening up the wood. I want to grip it instead. So as you can see, I've completely removed most of that bark now. I've only got the small section here, which won't take 2 minutes to remove. And then we can start looking at the tenon and basically the foot of the bowl, the shoe of the bowl. So but yeah, I was going to say, I enjoy woodturning. I think it's great. I think it's nice to be able to turn something from a log which has been sitting there for a couple of years and turn it into something practical, like a nice wooden bowl or a platter. But I will turn a vase at some point. It's the same technique, it's the same process, but again, it's just creating your form and then hollowing it out basically. Up to 4 likes, but thank you so much to everybody who's supporting the channel so far. Like I said, the channel's brand new, less than 3 weeks old, so I'm just finding my feet on YouTube at the moment. And is it challenging? Yeah, I suppose it is. Feel like anything, but I say Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? So let's crack on. If you'd like to support the channel, don't forget to like the live, don't forget to drop a comment, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to learn more. At the moment, I'm just making very, very light cuts because I don't want to remove too much material, because then, yeah, it just makes the bowl smaller. So, just make sure everything's nice and locked tight. Alright, we'll see where we are. Thank you very much for the like, it really is appreciated. And yeah, it goes a long way. I really appreciate everybody's support. It really helps the channel out. As you can see, I've removed all that bark now. So there's plenty of spalting going on in here, into the grain, etc. So lots of different colour variations, etc. going on. So, but yeah, all the characteristics, which with oak, it's more about tan. Let me find the bowl which I've recently completed. It's a nice piece of oak base which I completed only this morning. And yeah, so we've got all this different spalting going on at the moment, but with oak, it tends to, you've got 2 different colour variations. You've got the heart of the wood, the tan, okay, and then you've got the light oak, okay, which is the white oak basically. And you can tell by spalting, it's yeah, it looks stunning. So But this is the kind of look we're going for. But we're going to try and turn this piece of ash first into a nice, useful, practical bowl. But tenon basically is what you can see here. It's this outer ring basically, and this is what we grip the bowl with the jaws. Okay. Once I remove the tenon, it has this shoe. Okay, this foot. So once that's removed, we have the foot, and we just basically have something to sit on. So, but this is the kind of look, the effect we're going for really. And but yeah, so like I said, bowls aren't the only thing that I began with. But where is my first ever project? I've got it here somewhere. It will be something similar to this. So when I first started wood turning, I made something like this. Something very, very small, okay, very little. And yeah, and I just wanted to learn more. And this was made by a piece of carbide, so which we'll get into very shortly, because I tend to use a piece of carbide to turn my tenon and to make my shoe. But we'll get into that very shortly. But this is how I started, basically, making small little trinket cups, okay? And now I'm up to much bigger pieces, much bigger pieces. But if you enjoy the content, don't forget to drop me a like and see if we can beat the smallest target, 21 likes, which doesn't sound a lot. It's a lot to me. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, I'd really appreciate that. But what I'm looking for is the carbide I was just talking about. It's this little tip, okay? And these are very, very sharp, I was going to say, and just as sharp as traditional tools are, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in for a couple of mil, and then I'm going to just come in and create that tenon, and then a couple of mil behind it. I'm basically going to create that foot. So we can sand the base of the bowl and flip it round. We can actually start hollowing the bowl out. We're still at 700 revs, okay? It's very, very quick. It's not the fastest it'll go, but it's as fast as I need it at the moment. Okay, so there's our tenon, okay? Let's clean that up. So that's what we're going to grip the bowl with, okay? This is what we grip the bowl with. Clean this up a tad. And I'm going to create the shoe just behind it. Or the foot. One day I didn't clean the shoe up. And when I actually finished the bowl, I took the tenon off. I tried to actually sit the bowl down. It was just wobbling. So always ensure basically that's nice and flat when you're finished. As you can see, it's starting to take shape now. So I may make that tenon a little bit smaller actually. The bigger the bowl, the bigger the tenon. Okay, because you want a small tenon with a big bowl because of the weight difference. Okay, if it's too heavy, you can rip the tenon off quite easily. Okay, I only want to take it down just a tad, just a tad. So what I'm actually left with now is the tenon, the shoe, and I've got this flat edge here, okay, this flat edge, and what I want to try and do is maintain that flow with the bowl, because if I take the tenon off after, and I've got the foot, the bowl will sweep round, but then it comes to this flat edge, okay, and I don't want that flat edge, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate that flat edge back into the bowl, okay, so it'll still curve round, so it still sweeps around like a natural bowl, okay? And one way I do that is with the 3/8 bowl gouge, and yeah, what I'm going to try and do is just very light cuts, just on the base here really, where that flat edge is sitting, and yeah, we'll just incorporate it back into the curve. And thank you very much for the likes, I really appreciate it, really appreciate it. And I'm hardly having any pressure at all. Keep getting warm. Keep getting warm by YouTube. Keep telling me my limit has been reached. Blah 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 blah. Get more subscribers. You're gonna need more time. You need more subscribers to have more time. So, But as you can see, we've got the shape of the bowl, okay? And I've got the tenon, we've got the shoe. So what I'd like to do here, I could basically flip the bowl and sand it basically from where it is. But what I want to do here is while it's sitting still on the faceplate, I'd like to just sand the base off really, just to make it a bit smoother really. Make it a bit smoother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 80 grit sandpaper, 80 grit, and yeah, as you can say, the amount of sandpaper I go through is unreal. I should take out shares with the amount of sandpaper I go through. So, but yeah, some 80 grit sandpaper, and what I'd like to do is just sand the base of the bowl while it's spinning on this side. I could power sand it, but not right now. We'll do that at the end. Getting there. Getting there. What I realised there, I was sanding the tenon here. I've got a little dimple in the centre. I can feel it as when the sandpaper's on it. So what I'd like to do is chuck that sandpaper over there. Thank you very much for the likes. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It means an awful lot to the channel. It's going to say it's an awful lot to me. I'm going to say it's, yeah, my intentions is to try and explain more about wood turning, myths and stuff people don't talk about, what to avoid, what to think about when wood turning, and some of the things to avoid really. And if you would like to follow my journey, I'd really, really appreciate it. So again, I'm just going to use this bevel now. Okay, so what I've done there is just taking that dimple out. It's nice and smooth now, so I put my hands on it. So where are we with this tenon now? Okay, we can make that a little bit smaller. But what I want to do is I want to match the tenon to the profile of the jaws on the chuck. Okay, and I say, yeah, we will get there. We will get there. There we are. That's enough. So, what I'd like to do now, while it's just spinning there, because as you know, I've just sanded that tenon off. I want to re-sand it again. So, but yeah, so I've been wood turning a couple of years now, and it always interests me. I always try to learn from every piece I turn. The reason why I'm actually sanding around the foot of the bowl, basically around the tenon, is because when I flip it round and it's actually in the jaws of the chuck, what I want to do is basically, because it's difficult, it's not difficult to get near it, but you don't want your hands anywhere near that chuck, okay? Because you really, yeah, you break your fingers, no doubt about it. So what I've done, I can make that a little bit deeper. My apologies. My apologies. That's much better. That's much better. If it's too small, it could slip out those jaws, and that is what I don't want. That's really what I don't want. But that's adequate now. Okay, it's a bit difficult to see in the video, but yeah, it's probably a couple of inches. So I take my key, okay. My key looks a bit like an anchor, okay. Like an anchor. I'm going to lock the headstock, which is on the opposite side, okay. So now it won't spin, okay. Undo the jaws, and as you can see from here, there's a face plate, and it's actually holding the bowl actually on the lathe. So I'm going to use the tenon now. I'm going to put it in these jaws, okay. So you want to make sure that's nice and straight up against those jaws, and we just tighten it up so it's actually gripping the wood, okay. I'm not making it too tight. If I make it too tight, I can rip that tenon off. And you remember, this thing's spinning towards me, okay. The last thing I want is that to come flying off at me. Thank you so much for the likes. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I mean, I've not seen many people out there with thousands of subscribers, but oh, thank you again. But yeah, as I can say, it means a lot to me, because obviously the channel is brand new. So I'm just trying to find my feet on YouTube. So I've got my drill driver out. I could be here all day taking these screws out, and all it's holding is just small screws, basically. You don't want anything too long, and you certainly don't want to be using anything like drywall screws. It's got to be something steel screws to be able to grip this bowl, okay? I just lost one screw in the sawdust somewhere. So what I want to try and do is just give it a check the back of that tenon there to make sure there's no gaps in it. And what I'm looking for is give it a nice spin with my hand, okay? Because if it's not sitting properly, okay, you're going to see it wobbling around. When we've mounted our wood, okay. Thank you very much for the likes, okay. Thank you, really appreciate it. What you don't want is, once it's in the jaws, you want to turn the speed right back down, okay, right back down to its 95 revs, so it's on its slowest speed, okay. And what I'm looking for is any wobble, okay, any wobble in the wood at all. And one way you can see that basically is when you look at it when it's in the jaws like this on the slow speed. It'll be fluctuating, it'll be up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's the last thing we want, really. It's the last thing we want, okay. What we want is a nice, steady spinning bowl. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring the banjo, which is, you can see the banjo down here. The banjo is actually what holds the tool rest, okay. And they've all got locking arms on them. So I've got one to lock here, which locks the banjo from spinning or moving. And then we've got one here underneath the tool rest, which locks the tool rest in place, okay. So what I'm looking for is just to go under center, okay. And why do I want to go under center? Because when I come in with my ball gouge, if I'm just under center, literally, it's on center now. It's absolutely on center. So you don't want to be too high, and you don't want to be too low. Because if it's too low, the wood's going to catch the ball gouge, okay? It's going to catch it. So, but what I want to do here is just make sure, even before you start the lathe, okay, just give it a spin, just to make sure everything's passing freely, okay. And if it is bouncing around, take it off the lathe, okay. Take it off the lathe, look at your tenon, and try and resit it properly back in those jaws, okay. And like I said, it's all messed up here. I've got some really awkward pieces here, so what I want to do is tidy this up, okay. And one way to tidy that up is basically bring it just out a tad, make sure nothing's hitting it, okay. And we're going to start again at 95. As you can see, there's a slight wobble there. So what I'd like to do is come up. My preferable turning speed, my hollowing speed, is around about 600 revs, okay. Right, we're at 5 at the moment, okay, 500 revs. So what I want to try and do at this speed is take that wobble out, and one way to do that is to make sure everything is locked even before I think about touching it. On center, support the gouge, okay, just support it, don't grip it, okay, just support it. And again, so we can do shear cuts, which is back to orders. A lot of people call it a pull cut, and then we've also got push cuts, okay, which is away from it. Now as you can see here, I'm not bang centre. Okay, I'm not bang centre. I need to come down a little bit on that tool rest. So one word of advice: always stop at lathe when you want to try and move something. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you bang it, if you slip and you hit that while it's spinning, you're going to really hurt yourself. Really hurt yourself. Now it doesn't need to be lifted up and lowered in massive fashion. We're talking millimeters. Okay. So let's have a look now. Okay, so we are on centre now. And as you can see, I've tidied that rim up quite a lot since basically, in fact, I think a couple more passes actually. Okay, let's get up to 6. And we'll stop again, okay? What I'm looking for is any kind of annoying bits basically before I think about hollowing, because I could get them as I'm hollowing the bowl out, but as you can see, I've completely cleaned that face up now. There are no ridges, there's no loose bits, there's nothing which can fly off and get me in the face, etc. So, but ash is a beautiful bow to work with. But what I am going to do before thinking about hollowing, I'm just going to sharpen this bowl gouge, okay? Because, like I said before, these have to stay sharp, okay? And if they're not sharp, it's pretty dangerous. It's pretty dangerous. So give me 1 second, ladies and gents, boys and girls, YouTubers and stuff. It'll only take me 2 minutes. If that. I've got a sharpening system which can sharpen these gouges in literally seconds. Like I said, seconds. So we're going to go in now, and I'm going to start in the centre basically, and I'm just going to create myself a guide hole, something to work towards, okay? So we're 10 likes off my record from this morning, so if you're enjoying the video, I was going to say, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out, really helps the channel out. If you'd like to learn more about wood turning, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. And yeah, I was going to say, it's I enjoy wood turning. I think it's a great skill to have, really. And you can imagine what everybody gets off me at Christmas. So, like I said, this is quite a manageable sized bowl. And before I think about hollowing, I'm just going to measure it actually, just to get an idea, a nice indication of how big the bowl is. Okay. So at the moment it is 9 3/4 inch. Okay, 9 3/4, which is a nice sized bowl. So again, let's go in. Let's get this hollowed out. Like I said, I'm not gripping the wood. You can see me do it with my literally the tips of my fingers, okay? But then sometimes I support it on top just to prevent me slipping really when I'm hollowing. And what I'm looking for basically is I'm not being too aggressive. I'm not being too aggressive at all. What I'm doing, rolling that flute, so when I go in it's closed and when I finish it's open, okay? So I'm making a nice smooth transition from going in on that bevel and open it up. And there we are. And we just keep going through basically until we get to probably about 1/2 inch. And basically we're talking not much room on the tool rest at all there, but we'll just move that over as and when we get to it. I'm just taking it steady, okay? Some wood turners, they'll hollow out at 900 revs a minute, okay? I'm not comfortable at that speed, okay? And many reasons why for that, because I'm only 18 months in, 2 years into wood turning, so there's still a lot I do need to learn. So there we are. So and we just keep going. Thank you very much for the like. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. There's a thing here in the UK, and it's called an RPT, okay? A registered personal tutor. Now, if you want to get into wood turning, and say, go and have a lesson, you know, go and discuss kind of what it is you want to turn or what you want to get into, and it's and usually a wood turner can point you in the right direction, and yeah, about what lathes you need, kind of what you want to turn, the tools that are required, and yeah. But you can see I've already started hollowing now, and I'm just going to keep going in, and each pass I make, okay, each pass I'm going in, I was going deeper into the bowl itself. So as you can see, I've got some of this nice grain pattern going on here, some of the difference in colour variation. So, but yeah, like I said, I set the account up 3 weeks ago, just under 3 weeks ago, and then get to 200 subscribers. And yeah, I appreciate everybody's support, really, that follows my journey. And if you'd like to leave a comment, and say if you want to say hi. Hi, Frank. But yeah, I was going to say, it's all helps the algorithm, whatever that is. So yeah, we're going to crack on. I know some of you just like to watch wood turning, and some people actually want to learn from it. So I got completely obsessed with watching wood turners during lockdown, and yeah, and I just wanted to learn how to do it. And well, here I am. 12 months in, I was very inexperienced. 18 months, 2 years in, I'm still inexperienced, but I'm still learning. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, 13 likes. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Now, when I'm wood turning basically, I only tend to use 2 tools, or 3 tools, should I say. One is the 3/8, okay? One is the 3/8 ball gouge. The other is the 1/2 inch, which is very aggressive. It's very aggressive. It can take quite a lot of timber off, which is why I don't hollow with it, because it's you can remove rather a lot of material, really, and I don't want to do that. As you can see, a 3/8 is still making these cuts, okay? It's still actually performing the task I need. And some of the tools got in the background, but again, you don't need a whole arsenal of tools, okay? You don't need tons and tons of tools. You just need tools that do the job, okay? And I've learned that through other wood turners, where I've literally gone to see a wood turner local to me, and you would not believe the amount of tools he's got. It's an unbelievable amount. And I said, why do you need so many tools? And he says, well, they've all got their job to do. But then a bowl gouge is a bowl gouge. It doesn't really matter if you've got 1 profile or 10 profiles. They still do the same job. So yeah, I thought save a bit of money, and yeah, and it wasn't until it was later on, I think, and I understood that you don't just need, oh my goodness, yes, I was going to say yeah, it's not just the tools you need. You need the lathe, you need an extraction system to take the take a lot of the chippings away. You need an air cleaner to prevent any dust, and yeah, and you also need a sharpening system, so to keep your tools incredibly sharp. So some people sharpen by hand, some people sharpen various ways, but I've got a professional sharpening system. So, but again, we're going to get this thing spinning, and but yeah, hope you're enjoying the live, everybody, and yeah, be safe. If you want to support the channel, and say please don't forget to do that YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe, whatever they call it. Yeah, I'm learning. As you can see, and as you can see, this got larger and larger and larger, and eventually we make the bowl. So what I'm trying to do is be very, very light at the moment. I don't want to be too aggressive with the gouge, you see, because I don't want to take too much material off. So, but hi there, thanks for watching. Somebody said to me on social media, not YouTube, but another social media page, I should shut up, basically, and learn. And but I thought, well, who am I harming? Who am I harming? You know, say I'm not harming anybody. I'm just trying to. Some people like to watch woodturning. Some people really enjoy it. Oh, thank you very much for the likes. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. But yeah, I could talk to the hind legs of a donkey and still woodturn at the same time, but trying to explain my process as I do it, really. Like I said, it's yeah, I enjoy talking. I enjoy explaining. I think it's anyway, there's nothing wrong with talking, is there? I explained in one of my other lives, basically. There's push cuts and there's pull cuts, okay? So push cuts is away from you, okay? Away. And you've got a shear cut, a pull cut, basically, which is back towards me. That's a push cut. Okay, and a pull cut. Back towards me, okay? Back towards me. quite surprised my dog hasn't come in yet. If he sees the sawdust, he'll come in and he'll find the biggest pile of it he can. And yeah, he's got a bit of a bad habit of just laying the sawdust, and then all of a sudden he'll think, oh, let's go for a wander. And he goes back into the house and he makes a mess. He makes a mess. So as you can see, this diameter of the rim is still staying the same all the way around. So I've still got another ½ an inch to go. And what I'll do, I'll sort out this wall thickness as well, basically, because it's quite a chunky bowl. So we'll crack on. Reminiscent of Chantel from Facebook, same one. I'm not sure who Chanel. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Chanel, I thought it said Chantel. Chanel. I'm not sure. Facebook's okay. I find Facebook's got a lot of experts on Facebook, isn't there? So, but yeah, I was gonna say I take everybody's like comments on board. And a tad bit deeper there. I just got a catch in there then. I felt that as well. And what the catch does, see this groove inside the bowl. Can you make that out? Yeah, I'll remove that now with another pass. But again, let's see how far we are into this bowl. So one way I do it is put the gouge into the bowl, hold it from the flute, a couple of inches in, okay, a couple of inches. I know I can go at least another ½ an inch, at least 3/4 of an inch into that bowl. So what I am going to do is keep it at 600 revs there. There we are. Right, I do not want to go deeper than that. Because if I do go deeper than that, I end up going to the bottom of the bowl and what they class as a funnel. Now I've made enough of them, and it's when you actually go through the base of the bowl, and yeah, I was going to say, so you end up with a hole in the bottom, and again it gets jammed between the tool rest and the chock, and it just wobbles in there. So yeah, I've made plenty of them, trust me. So all part of my learning process really. So as you can see, these walls are still very, very chunky, so I'm going to bring this rim down probably another half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and see where we are with that really. Very, very gentle with those cuts at the moment. Very, very gentle. So I don't want to ruin this bowl. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of ash. So I'm quite surprised because the spalting is only on one side here. It's only on one side. So like I said, these walls are still incredibly thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resharpen my bowl gouge because ash has got a tendency to blunt tools very, very quickly. So regular sharpening, like I said before, is always required when turning ash. So it can be a bit of a pain, but like I said, it doesn't take long to sharpen tools. It. Okay, so I'll come back in now. Oh, what a difference. What I am going to do at this point, I'm going to bring the banjo over the tool rest, okay? I just want to clean up that rim there. Some people do it with a flat nose scraper, some people do it with a piece of carbide. I'll just do the bowl gouge. Right, okay, I bet that's nice and sorted all the way around. That's how I feel. Yeah, it's nice and fluffy. Sounds like I've taken a bowl off the lathe and notch out the rim and I've remove the tenon after sanding and stuff, and yeah, and I'll put the bowl down. I'll pick it up a couple of days later. In fact, I've still got this area here still nothing. So yeah, and I didn't take care of the rim. It was all lumpy, bumpy and wobbly and what a waste. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, it's flat. It's definitely flat now. So, right, let's crack on. It's nearly there. It's nearly there. I could leave the rim like this, but I think it's a bit far too chunky. So I'm going to go in and make a few more passes. Okay, I just messed up that rim. Damn it. just a tad. Okay, I've got a little knot here in the bottom, just a tad. I've got a few little tool marks here on the sides of the walls, but overall make a nice serving dish, really, pasta bowl or salad bowl. Again, I've got these small little raised lumps here where I've just missed contact with the bowl gouge, so I'm going to go in and make some very, very light cuts here. And what I'm trying to prevent really is getting a catch on this corner, because as you come in, it's very easy to catch yourself and well, not myself, but catch the wood. So the last thing I want to do is it actually ruins the aesthetics of the bowl. It totally ruins it. So very light cuts. Trying to avoid putting any pressure on the wood, so I make more like that. Okay, let's have a look. This is where I want to be incredibly careful. Okay, we've got rid of the ones here, which were obviously just off centre. The one in the centre I've still got. So very careful on those walls. I don't want to get a catch on that wall, because now I'm starting to thin the walls out, so I don't want to end up ruining it. So okay, and let's have a look. Overall, I'm quite happy with that. Still not convinced about this in the middle. I'm really not. Mr. Woodturner. I'm definitely not beating this morning's light count, am I? So it's stuck on 15. So if you'd like to support the channel, it's brand spanking new. Brand new. I said I only set the account up less than 3 weeks ago, nearly at 200 subscribers, and yeah, like I said before, I'm no expert by any means, but I watch a lot of videos on woodturning. Some of them talk absolute jargon, which goes right over your head. Some actually have got a very, very good way of explaining. Mike Holton's one of them. He's an amazing woodturner. And he explains stuff in really great detail. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That's what I'm looking for, basically, is that nice flowing curve really from centre out. So you can say if it's done with carbide, it tends to go straight in, really, more dog bowlish really than fruit bowl. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up my power sander. I'm going to get this actually sanded down, start at an 80 grit, and work through the grit until we get it nice and smooth, basically. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. can say it's there are worse pieces I've made. So what I'm looking for is my drill driver. So this one. Right, pop that there. What I'm going to do, this is going to get particularly loud, so I'm going to bring over this hood basically, and what's that going to do? It's basically going to stop this room getting filled with dust. I do have an air cleaner which doesn't seem to want to turn on at the moment, so let's just turn it off in case I knock it. Just make sure everything's in place. Okay, there we are. That's nice and close. So I'm starting at 80 grit. For a nice 80 grit disc. Okay, 100 will do. 100 grit. And work through these grits basically and get it all tidied up. So let's get it back on. And I want to get this down to about 300 revs. I don't want to go too quick because I don't want the wood warming up and eventually kind of like making the bowl warp. So let's go. stop right there a second. I'm just going to stop right there a minute so I can feel. Right, I need to fix this before thinking about carrying on with sanding. I don't know if you can see this in the wood. It's annoying, that's what it is. So I just need to go in and make a very, very fine cut there. And one thing I'm going to use for that, which I tend not to use very often, is the gooseneck piece of carbide, because I want to follow that curve out basically. So this one, I want to try and get rid of that okay, let's see if we've got it. Let's see if we've got it. Nope. Right, what we are going to do is I was extremely careful. I knew that was going to happen. Very, very delicate. Very, very delicate. I'm right near the base of that bowl. And I put the dimple right back in the bottom of the bowl again. I am very, very close to turning this to a funnel, so got to be very, very careful. Okay, let me just stop there a second. I've got it. Okay, so all I'm trying to do is just blend that back in. Anybody interested in following my journey on YouTube? It becomes very, very new. definitely not hitting that target today, are we? I'm going to say, but this is the last piece I'm making today. I've got a lump in there. Speed up a tad, okay, 600, just short 700 revs. I'm very, very close to messing this bowl up. So, and I don't want to do that on live because that would look very, very bad of me. So, here we are, sorted it. The toolbox as well, we have. Right, let's get back to sanding it. Let's get back to sanding it. I've made enough mistakes as a wood turner to last me till next Christmas. But again, every mistake I've made has always taught me a lesson. It's always taught me a lesson. And hi there. Yeah, and I've always learned something from that mistake. And yeah, that's how I've improved over the last 2 years. Really, it's let's get that extractor back on. Where's my power sander? I want 600. Okay, we're back to 80 grit. What I'm going to do is you're going to power sand it right in the centre. Nearly lost it. Just slow down that speed it's at. Okay, we lost it that time. I'm sanding too fast. A lot of lathe spinning too quick. Only on 371. Put that extractor back on, I'm getting absolutely covered in dust. Oh, my apologies. one thing I'm actually prone to when turning ash, it's very susceptible to tear out, and it's usually on the end grain. And one way I tend to prevent that happening is sanding in reverse, but usually I can't tell when the tear out is there until I put the finish on. Which is a ways to finish really once you know it's tear out, because then you've got to resand it. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in reverse 1 second. Right, what was I? I'm going to go back to that 240 a minute. I'm going to run it actually in reverse, because if it is tear out there, I'll get it from the other side. Thank you very much for the like, really appreciate it. It all means a lot to me when setting up YouTube. It's so when the channel's brand spanking new, it goes a long way. Really helps the channel out a lot. I was going to say so we've got our bowl. We've made our bowl. So it's a nice bowl. There's some spalting going on up here, and it's running straight through, which I'll show you once I've finished actually. There you go, 9 3/4 inch, 9 3/4, which is a nice size bowl. It's not the biggest bowl I've made. Is that tear out? I think it is, you know. One way to tell straight away without wasting tons to finish. Just put a tiny damp cloth on it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right. I'll tell you what, I will be glad to finish this bowl. I will be. Let me get some speed up and go back to 80. Get that extractor on. My apologies. Some bowls take a lot longer than others, and if you get tear out, which is a bit of a pain to remove, it's better to take care of it while it's still on the lathe rather than take it off and then realise afterwards that you should have taken care of it. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm just going to blast it with 240 1 second, and then having a finish on it. Right. Oh, I'll be glad to finish this one, because I need a cup of tea. As the British would say, I need a cup of tea. We're definitely not going to beat the records from this morning. Definitely not. Definitely not. Right, I'm just sitting at 240 and that's having a finish. I need 3 more, 17, 18, 19, yeah, 20. There's 5 more likes to beat my record. Or it's just YouTube and a semi-box. Or is it the Facebook gang? Be the Facebook gang. Let's say get that strap back on, I'm getting that covered in dust. Knock that extractor off. Right, okay, we're going back down to 95 reps a minute. Small little rag. Oh, I'll be glad to finish this bowl. I will be glad to finish this one. I'm not taking a piece off the lathe when this tear out, because it just makes the bowl look like it's not been finished. Plenty of sand in. Shine's going to come through. Ooh, that's a bit too much. Let's get this covered in. This ash is bone dry, by the way. Bone dry. So, I'm going to back the speed a minute and get this polished off. There we are. Now we shall leave it there. but I'm happy that one's finished. But as you can see with ash, it's got like the characteristics of ash. They're always different. They're always, just makes it stand out like anything. But I'm really, really happy that one's finished. At first I thought this was tear out, but it's just part of the wood grain. Just part of the wood grain. Say, but that took some work. That took some work. But not all bolts taking that long. But that one did. So when I get this off the lathe, turn the lathe off, lock the headstock, open the spin. And there we are. That's a nice bowl. Okay. So you've got the shape, characteristics are coming straight back through from the other side. And that, my friends, is partially spalted ash. But I'm happy that one's finished. I'm happy that one's finished. So, but yeah, if you want to follow my journey on YouTube, I'm going to say, and you understand where I make my mistakes, stuff where I learn from each one, talk about my lathe, speeds, tools, wood turning. Well, all you got to do is drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. We'll be back again probably tomorrow or the day after. Hopefully get another piece on. I am going to put a piece of willow on here tomorrow, I think. Awful stuff to work with. Awful stuff to work with. Again, it's one of those challenging types of timber. So, yeah, it taught me a lot. So, but yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. But thank you for everybody who's joined my live today. Really appreciate all the support, all the love, all the comments, and yeah, all the likes and stuff. We didn't hit our target today, but we might do it tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully. On the other side, I'll give one of my balls away once I hit a certain target. So, but yeah, thanks everybody watching, and hopefully I shall see you back on the other side. Take care, YouTube. Thanks for watching.